What's up guys, today I bring you another new smartphone review. So this is the Honor 400 global version. Roll the intro. So a new mid-range smartphone from Honor, combining some flagship features with mid-range specifications. The main highlights of the Honor 400, you get a 200 megapixel primary camera, you get a 50 megapixel selfie camera. This is powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3. This phone has quite a generous 5300 mAh silicon carbon battery, supports fast charging, and the list goes on and on. So quite excited to see how this mid-ranger performs. But first, let me show you what you get inside the box. You get an envelope with your paperwork and SIM eject tool, a Type-C to Type-C charging cable, and last but certainly not least, the Honor 400 itself. Now let's talk about the price. You can pick up the Honor 400 for £399 for the 256 gig variant, and for around £50 more you can get the 512 gig variant. So price wise, it's pretty attractive. Alright, now let's talk design. Now the phone is made from polycarbonate all over, so that's the frame and the back cover, but you have a rather nice matte finish to it and it almost feels like glass. Now the color I have here is called Desert Gold, but you can also pick this up in Midnight Black, Tidal Blue or Meteor Silver. Now the Honor 400 also features low blue light, flicker-free dynamic dimming for that reduced eye fatigue, and this even has an SGS 5-star drop resistance rating, which is kind of reassuring. So the phone does feel quite good in the hands with nice curved corners, you've got flat sides, and the thickness of this phone is only 7.3 millimeters and it weighs 184 grams. So quite slim and light as well. We have an interesting camera bump design with 2 camera sensors on the back and LED flash. Now more details on the cameras and camera samples shared later on in the video. But first, let's talk about that display. Now you are looking at a 6.55 inch OLED 120Hz display with a screen resolution of 2736 by 1264. And this does support dynamic refresh rate up to 120 Hz depending on what you are doing, but you also have the option to switch between 60 Hz and 120 Hz all the time, and you can also select which apps use the higher refresh rate and switch on and off accordingly. This phone does also feature Google Widevine Level 1 certification, and this also supports HDR10, HDR10 Plus and HLG, and the peak brightness can get up to 5000 nits. So nice display, symmetrical bezels going all the way around, nice bright colourful OLED display. But no idea whether it's Gorilla Glass or Panda Glass protection or maybe even something else. But if I do find out, I'll update you guys in the description box. Now let's quickly check out the ports. At the bottom of the phone we have our SIM card tray. That is a dual 5G SIM tray. A microphone, Type-C charging port and a loudspeaker. On this side we have power button and volume rocker. At the top of the phone we have a single microphone, an IR blaster in the middle and our secondary speaker grill. And on this side we have nothing. Okay, now let's talk performance. This phone is powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, which is a 4nm octa-core clocked at 2.6 GHz, along with the Adreno 720 graphics. Furthermore, this phone has 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM and 256 gigs of UFS 4.0 storage. Now this phone does also support virtual RAM extension, and it's automatically on by default. So it extends the RAM by 8 GB using your free internal storage space, effectively giving you 16 gigs of RAM. But something to mention, RAM extension is on by default and there is no way to turn it off. So a quick look at system and benchmarks. We're starting off with DRM info, and I mentioned this earlier, it does show Google Widevine Level 1. I also want to go into the Netflix playback specifications. So again, you can see the DRMs there. Playback resolution, Full HD Max, and HDR10 is supported. Quick look at CPU Z, so you can check out the clock speeds, and you can see at the bottom there it says Adreno 720. Alright, now we're doing a quick read and write test for the internal storage. And here are the results. We've achieved read speeds of 1104 and write speeds of 337 megabytes per second. So moving on to benchmarks, starting off with Geekbench single core score 1157 and multi-core score 3167. And in the Antutu benchmark test, we've achieved 855K. Moving on to 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme, you can see overall score 1477. I also ran 3D Mark Steel Nomad Lite and we achieved an overall score of 492. And when I tried to run the Solar Bay test, I was told the device does not support it. So 3D Mark Solar Bay not supported. So those were your benchmarks. Let's move on to some gaming. Now, if we talk gaming, you can technically play any game from the Play Store on medium to high graphics. So put this phone to the test. We're going to be playing a number of games, starting off with COD Mobile. So here are the graphics settings for COD Mobile. And you can see the maximum graphics selectable is very high with maximum frame rate. The option for ultra frame rate is there, and if you select it, it will drop the graphics down to low. So we're just going to play on the highest graphics and see how this performs.
Tango down. Reload. Losing Bravo. Targets in sight. I got shot. Reloading. Cover me. Tango down. Reloading. Changing back. Target down. Target down. Contact with enemy. Tango down. Changing mag. Cover me. Target down.
Okay, I want to quickly mention the stereo speakers are absolutely amazing, really loud and clear quality. After a full game of Call of Duty, you can see no throttling. We started at 33 degrees Celsius and you can see we ended at 36. Device is operating normally. So I must say the gaming performance was actually quite good with Call of Duty Mobile. Now let's really push this device. We're going to try playing Call of Duty Warzone. So here are graphic settings for Warzone. If we go to custom, I'm going to bump everything up to its maximum possible graphics. So visual quality medium is the highest, FPS target uncapped, resolution high, and upscaling high. You can see the thermals have bumped up to 41 degrees Celsius just by installing this game. So we haven't even started playing yet. So this is my go-to game when I want to test the system performance, the thermals and the throttling. We're going to see if this phone can handle Warzone maxed out. Here we go. That was an amazing game. Okay, so moderate throttling, 46 degrees Celsius. It feels kind of hot to the touch, but I was still able to play a full game of Warzone with the graphics maxed out. And it played okay. Visually, whilst I'm playing, I didn't see any gameplay issues. The graphics looked good. The game played well, but yet the temperature is going up at a steady rate. So that was a quick gaming test. Now, what about battery? Well, this phone has a 5300 mAh silicon carbon battery and supports up to 66 watt wired supercharging. The charger is not included in the box, but if you do get hold of a 66 watt charger, this can do 100% charge in only 46 minutes. All right, so now let's talk cameras. We have dual cameras on the back with a 200 megapixel primary sensor, and that is the Samsung ISO Cell HP3, and we've seen this primary sensor being used in the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus, the Honor 90, the Realme 11 Pro Plus, the Unihertz Tank 3, and many others. The secondary camera is a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and on the front you have a generous 50 megapixel selfie camera. So here are some camera samples for you to check out. This is 1080p 60. .4K 30 front-facing camera. Alright, a few other things to point out. We have Android 15 with Magic OS 9.0 on top. The OS is as expected, fast in operation, and lots of features and tweaks to play around with. Now what's nice about Magic OS is that it does not come with too many unwanted bloatware apps, but you do get one folder called Top Apps, which aren't really top apps, but easy enough to remove or uninstall what you don't need. Now Honor are really pushing the AI features. So let's quickly go through the highlights. So we've got something called AI Suggestions, which can recommend apps based on the user habits and scenarios. So Magic Text basically allows you to extract text from an image, which is quite cool. Let's keep going. What else do we have? We've got Magic Portal. So with your knuckle, you can tap to draw a circle, and then it will open up the Magic Portal to access various services. So for example, if we knock and draw around this image, you can see it's highlighted the image and it's given us a few options there on the side that we can use, which is quite interesting. Here's another cool one. You can touch and hold any text on the screen, drag it to the side, and then you can open that text up in Notes. How cool is that? So we've got AI subtitles. It's real-time speech to text. You can add subtitles to videos by a touch of a button. We got AI Translate, so real-time voice translation. AI Writing, so quick reading and writing on selected content. You can generate content, comments with a simple tap. And you've also got AI deepfake detection. So that was some of your AI features. Okay, there's a really cool feature that I want to show you guys. Image to video feature. So you add an image, and I'm just going to grab this image here and hit start generation. It's going to animate this static photo into a video. You can see there video generation in progress, and it's using the power of AI to pull this one off. Right, so here are the results, and check it out here. Static image. That is almost scary. That is, AI is scary, guys. Look at this. That was a static photograph. How is that even possible? Absolutely amazing feature, and you can export that into a video. So if you can imagine, you can get any static photo and make a short video out of it, and I think the results are mind-blowing. So there are a lot of AI features for you to explore in this phone. I've just touched base on a few of them and gave you a few examples. Honor's really pushing the AI abilities, and the results I've seen so far has been quite impressive. Now, other things to mention. Now, you've got a really good in-display optical fingerprint sensor, and face unlock works really well too. Furthermore, you get the usual NFC, Bluetooth 5.4 and Wi-Fi 6, along with the IR blaster, which is located at the top. Now, to give you an idea of how this phone ranks, here is my top performing smartphone chart of 2025, showing you the latest smartphones and seeing how they compare with each other. Now, all smartphones are ranked by Geekbench multi-core scores, so higher the score, faster the phone, and therefore higher it ranks on this chart. For some people who are not bothered about benchmarks, I've also given each phone a rating out of 100 based on the features and the specs. So you can see exactly which phone is the most powerful and which phone overall is the best in terms of rating. So based on that, the new Honor 400 5G takes position 29 on this chart with a Geekbench multi-core score of 3167. And I've also given this phone an overall rating of 89 out of 100. So there you have it, guys. That was the Honor 400. Now, let me break it down for you. You get a slim and light design with an elegant aesthetic. Desert gold is actually quite nice. It grows on you, although midnight black also looks pretty good. AMOLED HDR display is nice with thin symmetrical bezels going all the way around. Decent mid-range performance. You have an IR blaster as a bonus. Cameras are also pretty good for videos and photos. You got great quality loud stereo speakers. Amazing battery life with a silicon carbon battery. This phone also supports 66 watt fast charging and only 46 minutes for a full 100% charge, but unfortunately the charger is not included in the box. Magic OS 9.0 is quite enjoyable, and the Honor AI features are quite well presented, and some of the results are simply mind-blowing, like the photo to video feature. This phone has an IP65 rating, which is basically splash proof, so I certainly would not like to accidentally drop this into water. Now, saying all of that, the overall experience is very good. You get a lot of great features included in this mid-range marvel. And for the price starting at only $399, this could be one of the best priced mid-range smartphones you can buy right now. Although the mid-range division in smartphones is quite busy at the moment, with lots of mid-ranges being launched from all directions. This is the Honor 400, and it's designed to be affordable with a touch of personality in that design and a performance that's more than adequate for most users. And if you combine that with a great battery life, a beautiful display, and AI features, it's an overall winning combination. So that's all for this video. Any questions, you guys know what to do. And if you want to see more of my latest and greatest unbiased tech reviews, hit the like button, sub to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.